Hey guys, I'm Prof. Our full name is I'm the co-founder of EOS Miami. We're a blockchain organization here in Miami. We were the Miami Herald 2019 Startup Pitch Competition finalists, and also we're alumni of 500 startups. We're based here. So today I'll introduce one of our projects. It's called WordProof. It's a way for you to timestamp your WordPress pages on blockchain. So what that means is you'll be able to take like individual, like a post, like you did the hello world type post, right? You'll be able to do a cryptographic hash on it and put the cryptographic hash as verified on the blockchain. So you prove that you made that page at that particular time. And every time you do an update, you basically prove that you made that revision. So it's a way to prevent people from stealing your content. It's also to show that, basically you're transparent. Basically you show your proof of work and also how you made revisions over time. There's a lot of use cases, and it's free to use. We actually, through our foundation, we gave a grant to develop this software. So I'll be happy for you to try it out. So I'm going to basically play a...
let's see what happens when you do audio, because I never tested that. There should be. Well.
Think for a second about your visitor, wandering through the internet, making his way through millions of websites. The choice is literally endless. However, there's only a few websites he accepts information from, let alone does business with. He trusts those websites. But how do you gain your visitors' trust? By timestamping your content on the blockchain. The idea is simple. You publish your content and add a timestamp to the blockchain, creating indisputable proof that you own the content. Let's see what can happen if you don't timestamp your content. You write your article and publish it for the world to see. However, somebody steals your content and profits from it by presenting it as his own.
That's a bad man. Bad man.
That sucks, doesn't it?
That never happens.
If only there would be a way to inarguably prove that you were the creator and owner.
Sorry, you okay? Yes. I have new shoes on.
You gain additional trust by being transparent. Your visitors can go through your content's different timestamps and now know for sure you didn't tamper with your content. Let's look at the setup. Some say blockchain is difficult, but we've broken it down with a 3-step setup wizard. Follow the 3 steps and you will be able to timestamp right from your WordPress dashboard. The entire setup takes just 5 minutes. Trust equals ownership and transparency, both for your visitors and you. Start timestamping today. WordProof timestamp. WordProof.io.
Okay.
So the main development is being done in the Netherlands, but we help with it here in Miami as well. So in fact, if you guys want to get involved, there's plenty of opportunities. It's basically volunteer type work. So what there's 3 aspects to this. One is the blockchain, which I'll be happy to answer questions about. And then other section is the actual plugin aspect, basically for you to, just like David did before, basically install another plugin to your WordPress site. And when you install that, basically you'll have an extra button on each page you create saying, do you want to timestamp that? Like right now, like you basically do like five pages per day for free. And obviously you can do more than that if you pay a small fee. But 5 is probably enough to get started. And when you timestamp something too, you have an option of putting a verification little widget on that page saying it's being basically verified on blockchain. And there's a one-click button for end users to actually go to the blockchain explorer to actually see that hash was actually verified. So that's the second aspect. The third aspect is if you're just a normal person, you know, just surfing the website, basically you can like actually copy and paste the information on that page and go to a block explorer to see if the hashtag matches up. So basically if I copy and paste like David's blog post from yesterday, or a blog post about this, right? And I say that's mine, right? You know, someone could basically copy and paste both his blog post and my blog post and see who's actually verified on blockchain. So that's the third aspect of the verification tool. So it's not as complicated as it seems. Like today I'll just go into like the very basics of it, and if you guys are interested, we'll come back at some point in the future for a longer, you know, basically getting you guys started. So feel free to interrupt me. I mean, I know there's a lot to cover. So I'll just go into the very basics, and this is pretty similar to what David just did, except it's just.
How do you protect your valuable content? My name is Sebastian van der Lans, and I'm the founder of the company WordProof. With WordProof timestamp, that's our first product, you can protect your valuable content in the blockchain. With that protection, you can always prove your authenticity and you can claim that your content is yours. In this tutorial, I will show you from A to Z how you can protect your content with the WordProof timestamp plugin. If you're new to blockchain, the tutorial can have quite some steps. First, we will Then we will create a blockchain account, configure it in a blockchain wallet, and after that, we will place our first timestamp. That will take some minutes, but after that, for every new content, and our blockchain wallet. Let's go to the dashboard and first install the plugin WordProof timestamp.
So this is basically what David
Add
did
a new
just,
plugin.
Half an hour ago, except we're searching for WordProof instead of the security thing that he just searched for.
There it is. Install now. And the plugin is installed. We can activate. WordProof timestamp has been activated. What you see here is WordProof, the button, a new button in the menu. And it will help us set it up. Here's a video to welcome you. And the only thing we have to do is click Start Setup. And we can choose. There are two blockchains we connect with at the moment. And pick a 12-character account.
So this
you can use the A to Z and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Combination.
It's basically how to set up your cryptocurrency wallet. We'll skip that section for now.
What's Telos?
Telos is there's an EOS. EOS is the fourth largest cryptocurrency in the world, and it's basically similar to Ethereum, except it's the most used one now for new applications. So at EOS Miami, we support all the different EOS chains, and Telos is one of the chains. In fact, Telos is the foundation that actually gave the grant to produce this software. So it's basically, you know, the difference is like if you do a Bitcoin type application, you know, the hash time, between the time you write something and the time it appears on blockchain, it can be measured in 15 minutes, while in Telos it's like half a second. So it's much more developer friendly from that point of view.
Translating that for people who may not be aware of what a bit of
so basically
chain is.
Right. Yeah, so that's a good point. Yeah, sometimes you get too close to what you're doing on a day-to-day basis.
I think we're all on the same page where the service provides a way for you to uniquely identify your content, right?
Yeah.
And so I think we're on board with that.
Yeah.
And we don't need to go too deep into the woods, but I think probably some of the underlying stuff.
Yeah. So basically, you know, blockchain has its origins in cryptography, and in particular, it's hashing. So basically, I can take this entire, whether it's if you made this into a scan, a PDF, or a JPEG, or just a text, right? No matter what digital document you have, you can turn it into a hash. You can take any sort of digital image and do a one-way transformation. So basically, if I took this, I could turn it into a long sequence of strings, basically to prove that this image is represented by that. It's basically a one-way hash where I can't take this 128 character code, I can't recreate this like scan or this document, but I can prove that this document is represented by that hash. So basically what WordProof is doing is it's taking the title of your WordPress page, the text, and the timestamp basically, and also the account that created it. It's taking all that information and creating this a long sequence of codes. So basically, and this is what you verified later on as well, where if I took the same exact copy and pasted, try to steal his content, right? My hash would be different even though I copy and pasted because the timestamp is different, and also the user account that created is different too. That's one way to prove it.
Because it knows the original.
What?
If you can compare it to another one in a different accounts, how does it know it's the original? Which one is the original?
Yeah, so that's where the verification comes in as well, where you're right, you can verify that something was hashed, right? But who hashed it first, and you can do the first person that did it too. It's a tool, but how you use the tool is up to you.
So 10 people can steal this
Right.
and add it to the blockchain, and then you can see which of those 10 was the first, second, third, or fourth iteration, and you can go back and say, but okay, there's 9 copies. The first one is the only original.
Yeah. So if you're a thief or whatever whatever reason you do it, it's just proving that you stole it. Then it's like proof of theft. And you probably wouldn't use this because it'd make it super easy for you to show that you're the one that did it second, basically, or. Yeah, but just like the trademark, it usually generally is, unless there's reasons why you didn't do it. The first person to hash is probably the person that actually owns the content. But we're not trying to say that's the case. It's just a tool. Yeah.
Where do you have to go to test the hash?
So there's a separate it's on WordProof.io. There's a separate landing page just to test the hash. We'll go into the video, but you basically copy and paste in that and go into that as well. So basically. But just generally, Bitcoin is similar to this, right? Except that with Bitcoin, there's a concept of miners. So people have basically computers in their closet, and they're using as much electricity as Venezuela, I think, or something. And so basically, so Bitcoin from that point of view, it's not like it's valuable. It's like digital gold, but people are using it just as a store of value, just a new currency. But if you're actually building applications like this, it's really expensive. What the other people think that people are using is Ethereum. And Ethereum is more developer friendly. It's more similar even to JavaScript or language, except every time you want to create a transaction, you have to pay for it. It's called gas. So basically, it doesn't scale that well because the more you use it, the more expensive it gets. While EOS, the newest large developer friendly blockchain, it's all free. So you can create something, and then each time someone uses it, you don't pay additional amounts to use it. So that's why we support EOS per se. And then, yeah, so basically, I won't get too much into it, but there is some economics involved in crypto economics, but it's probably irrelevant here. But there's a lot of reasons to do this as a way to monetize your content beyond your ad revenue from just the WordPress site. So any other questions? And we'll move on. Feel free to just interrupt because it's going to be high level.
Well, just keep in mind too, it's he's got 20 more minutes, so maybe some questions saved to the end because we want to make sure he gets to the cliffhanger.
Yeah. A lot of this we're going to skip. Basically, you're setting up your cryptocurrency wallet, but so the good thing about you guys in Miami is you have us here to help you. Generally, people who do this type of thing, they don't have a block producer living in their neighborhood, basically doing meetups to actually walk you through this. You're just generally just watching a YouTube video from watching some guy in another continent. So we're kind of lucky here in Miami. So
What's a block producer?
yeah, so there's no concept of like I said, Bitcoin. It uses as much electricity as Venezuela. It's because there's thousands.
Venezuela hasn't got any electricity.
Yeah, so basically, it's not very eco-friendly. And Ethereum is the same way. You know, basically, people have computers in their closet running it. With EOS, it's a global voting system. So anyone who has a token, like our version of Bitcoin, they vote about who actually runs the network. And only the 21 top vote getters in the world are actually paid to run the network. And luckily for us here in Miami, we're actually #1, so we're going to be pretty stable here. And we get paid daily to run the network, and we reserve 10% of our daily revenue to fund projects and social impact.
So it's a distributed network that, like DNS servers, just keep updating each other?
Yeah, except with, you know, in Bitcoin, there might be thousands of them doing that. In EOS, there's only 21. So it's just not as decentralized, but it's decentralized in that any given day, we can be voted off the island, right? If we're not writing enough white papers, not doing enough meetups, not doing enough like community outreach, right? You know?
And these servers just keep replicating each other, so they always have the same database?
Yeah, you can think about like MySQL in the cloud. Basically, it's a cloud server, except it's immutable, right? Where, you know, if something's written to the database, like your hash for your WordPress page, you know, like there can never be like a takedown order on YouTube, for example, right? No one's gonna like, YouTube's not gonna can't censor your account, can't take away your content, it belongs to you. I mean, in WordPress, if you're talking about pages, if it's a game, you're talking about like a Warhammer in one of your games or whatever. There's a lot of problems where people like, you know, think they own some item, digital item, and they don't. You know, some third party takes it away or bans it or something, right? There's no true digital ownership. So if something's on blockchain, you know, it's censor proof. There's a lot of like libertarian aspects to this too. You know, some of the things might seem harder on blockchain. You know, the question is why blockchain? You know, it's because a lot of it is it's a philosophy as well, beyond just the technology, why people are doing this. A lot of societal aspects as well. So, yeah. Any other questions?
Continue.
All right, cool.
Walk away.
The form here, click next step, and with giving your email, you can get 80 more words. And with putting 2 timestamps in stamping itself, we go to a post, we see hello world here, and here in the sidebar on the right, you have a box called WordProof. With the WordProof box, you have a button timestamp. So after publishing a new article or doing a new edit of an article, you can click the button timestamp. Let's do it. Here we see the account, Sebastian33, the hash, which is the proof of integrity and proof of ownership of our content. And we have the memo here with a link to the post and the quantity. It will take us 1 word to timestamp. Let's allow. It's like putting our sign or autograph on the transaction. And here we see your post is timestamped. And what we can do is view our certificate. Here in the front end, so we see you have hash WordProof, we see the pop-up with the timestamp certificate. Hello world, this is the content. What we can do here is watch on the blockchain the transaction which signed our post with the timestamp. And here we have the Telos Block Explorer. It gives, it's a public ledger with all transactions. And here we see our transaction. 1 word, it's, this is the URL we stamped, and this is the unique hash for this post. Isn't that exciting? What we can do, we can click the pop-up away, and also go back to the pop-up. In the settings screen, you can edit the text here. But here we can see also if the timestamp is a valid timestamp. And last but not least, I will show you how to check a timestamp. For that, I will go to a live example. I go to my personal website, it's in Dutch, but it doesn't matter. BasVanderLans.nl, WordPress and blockchain.
He actually, I think, met you before.
Here I have the timestamp certificate. Yeah. And what we can see, we can view it on the blockchain.
Yeah, he was there.
And we can go to the timestamp checker. I will open that in a new tab as well. Here I see in the block explorer where the timestamp is with the hash and the URL. I copy the hash, go to the checker and paste it, and I copy the raw content. It's the content here. Copy and paste. What I can do, I can click on generate hash, and here I see the hash put in and the generated hash are absolutely identical to each other, which shows that there's not been tampered with the content. So, back to your WordPress install. What we've done, we've installed the WordProof timestamp plugin, we've created a blockchain account, we've installed and configured Scatter, the blockchain wallet, and then we've placed our first timestamp.
So that's basically all I wanted to present today.
Yeah, cool.
Now this, I understand this, this is very interesting. And I'm thinking about me personally, I'm a terrible speller. I will write a great article. I'll look at it the next day and say I timestamped it. I'll look at it the next day or the next week and say, oh, I gotta fix 3 typos in there.
Well, nobody will want to steal your content now. Isn't that great?
What happens, I have to re-timestamp it, and now I'm creating confusion in the world?
You basically want to create a timestamp because you are showing the transparency about how you have different revisions. Just like even with the when you apply for a patent, right? You actually have to have your notebook too, your revisions you had over time. Basically, how you went from your end product to your original prototype. There's a succession.
So it still shows I'm the owner, just that I'm a bad speller.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it is, because remember, it's doing a one-way hash, right? You know, this thing.
You can change your content. You're not locked. It's just a new thingamajiggy.
Right, and you're basically, it's not like you're getting like 5 free a day anyway. It's not like you're being stopped from doing
So the social engineering problem with this is, if I'm not using it, and I wrote a blog article, and then a thief steals my article and put the blockchain stamp on it, now it looks like I didn't write it.
Right, yeah. So that's the thing, it's like, you know, these technologies, you know, right at this point you're an early adopter, you know, so it's like, you know why bother? You know, there's all, you know, you say, well, you know, why can't I do it another way or whatever? And you kind of think about like, you know, mobile phones, right? Or even like your, I don't have one, but like a Fitbit or your Apple iWatch. You know, it's like, you know, one day, you know, they weren't practical. The next day it's like, why do you need one? And then overnight, everyone's got one, right? You know, if you think about even mobile, you know, iPads, mobile phones, you know, you could do email, Facebook, whatever you want to do. You could do it perfectly well on a laptop, right? You know, everyone's like, why do you need a mobile phone, right? But overnight, everyone's got a mobile phone. This might be the same thing where like, you know, the network effects are going to be powerful, you know, for it to take off. Like overnight, it would be that like everyone has to have a actual verification. Sure. Maybe not this tool, but a tool as a general category to verify that content is something that you made, especially with all this fake news stuff going on, right? And all this other stuff.
I'm just thinking now the next level of social proof. Let's say someone wrote something and then someone stole it and then changed the context of it and put it out there. Now there's a lawsuit. Would this proof work in court that it was written by this guy and this guy messed with it and created fake news?
That's the purpose of it, right?
I know, but will it stand up legally?
What's also important, that's why you have your timestamping your multiple revisions as well. Because generally the person who stole it is only stealing the last version, right? They're not stealing like all your drafts of all your typos. That's how they even do like when people like trying to prove that like someone stole their software code too. Generally people steal a software code. They're even stealing like, you know, the bugs in the comments, right? Someone puts like their daughter's name in the comments, right? Just doing that. So a lot of these little things are like, you know, this even makes it even harder still too, because with the hash, they can't just reverse, they can't just take the,
just like pictures now.
yeah.
But you can hash code with this as well,
That's
conceptually?
That's exactly what it's doing, right? Even GitHub, right, when they're doing revisioning, they're basically, it's, a lot of the stuff is, in computer science, it's a one-way hash. So the computer science concepts are well known. It's the implementation is, there's an economic model behind it, there's a infrastructure, It's also decentralized too, where since you yourself do not control the network, you know, it's basically more trustworthy because you can't just go in and just change your own like hard drive.
Yeah, we gotta get this into Facebook.
Right. You know, I mean, also, I think from the WordPress plugin, WordPress community itself, you know, I read a statistic that like, you know, for every dollar that the WordPress creators, you know, make themselves, you know, they generate $22 in value for the community or people who use it. And while Facebook is you know, every dollar they of value, they take 95 cents, they give 5% to the rest of the community. So I think like this type of system where like, you know, you can use it for free, you can do whatever you want with it. It goes to that ethos of the WordPress plugin community as well. So I think like, and also it's open. You guys can look at the code. It's all React, just like his opening slide is creating going to a React meetup. I teach a bunch of free JavaScript classes and software and React VR for Boca.js and all that stuff as well. So the community is pretty strong and we're pretty open and transparent about it. And plus you have an opportunity to actually get involved and create something as well.
So this is
Do you teach in Miami or Fort Lauderdale with JavaScript?
So I teach a lot of Boca.js and code for Fort Lauderdale, but in Miami we do a lot of things as well. I didn't want to go into too much of the self-promotion and everything, but like keep it relevant, you know, especially. But yeah, we do a lot of like open source and community work here in South Florida.
So this is out of beta. This is out in the open, and
yeah, you can use it now.
Any idea how many people have downloaded the plugin and how are actually using it?
I don't know, but like it's on the
You can
WordPress.
look at
Yeah,
it.
you can. It's on the official WordPress plugin.
I think it said 70, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's still, how long has this been out?
This video is 3 days old, so.
We could be really early adopters.
Fresh.
Is it blockchain timestamp? Actually, can you do that with videos?
Well, as long as it's something on WordPress, the URL could be on your WordPress plugin. Basically, all you're doing is copy and pasting the text, right? You're not pasting. You're copy and pasting the URL.
You can embed the video, I guess.
But it could be the next version.
Can you hash the image? Is that part of the hash?
It's you're just copying and pasting exactly what goes into the WordPress database, which is just URLs. So you're not.
Yeah. So if you're embedding a YouTube video, it would be the YouTube URL. The YouTube URL is the only thing that's saved in the whatever your post content is.
No, that would work, because if you embedded a YouTube video and then someone took it and changed the video, the hash would change too, because the URL of the video and then would change.
But anyone can point to a public video though. It doesn't prove that you created the video. It just proves that you created the post that pointed
It
toward
would
the
prove that it changed from what you actually created.
But I'm sure there's other ways. If you're going to do that, then there's probably other ways in the post you're authenticating yourself anyway. And, you know, I mean, what is the most no one cares what I write. So I would think that proving yourself as an author of a post to this extent would, like all technologies, that has to start in certain fields. And usually they're scientific or medical, but I don't know in this case, what would be a good use case scenario for someone
If you're writing
authenticating?
political commentary, it would be useful because people are always taking it and rewriting it and plagiarizing it, so that can be useful.
Remember, it doesn't necessarily either have to be public. It could also be something that is behind not necessarily a paywall, but maybe an intranet or something along those lines. Where, remember, WordPress doesn't it's not just for public consumption. It can be for intranets or for behind paywalls or behind secure. Everything's behind a username and a password these days.
I think from the
Military purposes.
The point of view of our blockchain community here globally and here in Miami is trying to make what we're doing to be more mainstream. Where traditionally things we're doing it's almost like a little bit very difficult to get into. All the tools, the crypto wallets, the servers in your closet. Now it's basically a plugin, right? Basically, the only way for any of this to go mainstream is to get people who aren't basically like super enthusiasts to be able to use it. So, the internet was originally just a bunch of researchers, right, doing terminals before it became a graphical user interface. So it's a step. This might not be the final step, but it's an important step in the world of
Eventually,
blockchain mainstream.
eventually there'll be an adopter. Like, remember when e-commerce websites were the only websites that quote unquote needed to be secure?
Mhm.
And what changed so that everybody suddenly wanted to be secure?
Google requirement for SEO.
Google. Nobody wanted to be secure just for the sake of security. If people wanted to do that, then we would stop having these we would stop having banks being hacked, which is a different subject. But Google was just an example, but in that particular case, somebody had to get everyone else on board, right? And so, but if you were already secure before that, you were ahead of the game. So this could be another instance where you could be looking at the next, this could be this could be something now, this is my opinion, but this could be something now like how you had to be secure in order to accept credit card payments if you were selling something on your website, and that's the only reason. And browsers didn't say you were not a secure website if you didn't have this, they just had a little green block. But nowadays, if your site isn't secure, even if it's just a blog, even if you're just posting recipes on a
Yeah.
website, it'll say your
It
site
looks
is
like a
not
warning
secure.
that-
Oh yeah, there's a big red X in Firefox.
Yeah,
But that's afterward, but that's now. But you're talking about before, and this could be the
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
Where-
I can see Google getting to the point of content is so much fake content that they'll give your post higher authority if it's timestamped and with this.
Just don't say fake news again, please.
Hmm?
What?
What?
No, I didn't hear you. You know, good. But anyway, I don't want to take away from his
Yeah,
his
so
limit.
this is very obviously this video is just less than a week old. So if we have a very robust global community, and this is also one way for you to basically become a leader in something new technology that has support. So obviously you saw, I think she said there's like less than 100 downloads. So if you actually try to do something, create something, would definitely promote your WordPress site, promote you as a creator to maybe even create have your video here as well.
Yeah, I'll write an article about this and timestamp it on my blog.
Yeah, definitely. Whatever you
Timestamp
like,
your
just well, obviously it's early days, and then also with new features as well. It's like there's a lot of features we can build. We just have to see what the community wants, and you just can't just keep building in a vacuum. We have to go users and have feedback as well. Yeah, so we're I live in Coral Springs. We're local, and my dad actually teaches here at the med school. He's a plastic surgery program here, so we're always around. So,
You have a card?
yeah, I'll give it to you later.
Digital card, I don't know if you can take it.
Cool. And,
Fascinating.
we're vegan, so I'm always trying to pitch my vegan,
Thank
our
you
vegan
so much.
mafia. We have a whole group of vegan techies and creative groups.
Good, when we have WordCamp, we'll probably need your help because we're always trying to get vegan stuff. But why don't we give them all a round of applause?